Today we're going to be working on a 2007 Dodge Caravan. We are going to be looking at our fuel injectors, and we're going to be focusing on injector number 6. The power is going to be shared between all the other injectors, which makes this a sequential multi-point fuel injection system, because at each point, each fuel injector has its own ground or control wire, which we could, if we just wanted to do like 4 and 2, we could do that ourselves. This system is also going to have each fuel injector will receive a constant 12 volts of power through the ADS relay, which is over here, the automatic shutdown relay, and it won't be able to operate until the PCM completes the circuit by grounding the injectors. So each of these brown and white wires will have 12 volts with the key on engine running. This is also an electronic returnless fuel system, so the fuel pump, fuel pressure regulator, fuel filter are all built into one assembly. The PCM will control the pump operation through relay, turning it on and off. This is our fuel injector number 6, which we're going to be working on. Here we are looking at the voltage with our key on, engine off. Right now we're sitting at 0.35 volts, which is a sensory volt. That's just for the PCM to be able to check all the different injectors. It sits at about 0.3 volts, but when we have the key on originally, you saw it sweep up to 12 volts, and then it went right back to that 0.3, and that's just the PCM checking to make sure that each injector is getting the right amount of voltage. But with the key on, engine off, it's not just going to sit at 12 volts the entire time, but it did check to see if it was operating. Yep. Alrighty, and now as we got the key on, engine on, we have our power wire, which is our brown and white wire. We have that sitting at 14.4 volts. I'm now going to move the back probe to our control or sensor wire. We're also sitting at 14.1 volts, so literally the same as the power. Alrighty.
So here we have the ECT unplugged. We can see the connector right there. The ECT itself is hiding behind the ignition coil. We can hear the cooling fan on, and we can see that voltage is at running voltage about 14.1, 14.2.
Alrighty, we have created a vacuum leak to see what it does to our ignitions. Right now we're still getting that PCM voltage just to make sure that all the injectors are accurate. Alright, now that we just turn it off. With the vacuum they created, it hasn't really changed the voltage too much. the ohms of our fuel injector number 6. And we are about 13.1, maybe 12.8 ohms, which is in spec. Alrighty, so right now we have our picoscope hooked up to our fuel injector, and we are looking at the distance we have apart. We have 3.7 milliseconds of distance in between, and right now we're at 14.66 volts, which is just idle. So I'll let you guys see the entire screen. We're about to rev the engine to see if that will change the distance in our gap. Alrighty, so after revving the engine, we're gonna measure and see if we had a notable distance in our gap. Alrighty, and then with increased engine RPM, our gap did get slightly a few seconds longer. So it went from 3.8, 3.9 milliseconds to now 4.0 milliseconds in distance. Alrighty, we're about to create a vacuum leak and see what that changes on our picoscope. Alright. Alrighty, so right here we have our alternator disconnected. We're still set up to the picoscope. We're gonna see if this changes the gap we have in our readings. We're only going to do this test for a little bit because without the alternator, the car will start to drop battery voltage. Alrighty, and now we're gonna measure the gap we have. Alrighty, and we have a gap of 3.7 milliseconds, which is not significantly different than our normal readings. But as we run this some more, we're gonna see if it starts to change. The more the voltage drops in our battery, the more distance we should see.